Welcome to Munich, a city of Germany famous for its beer, lederhosen, and massive instruments. This city might seem simple at first appearance. Unknown to most of the world, Munich holds one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of all time. This is my journey of how one unanswered question drove me to investigate 5 cities across Europe. Little did I know that these cities would give me more questions than answers. Has history burned the bridge of evidence, or will I find a clue that will break the jaws of ignorance? I'm your host, Harvey Kirschner, and after a short 8.5-hour flight to Munich International Airport, I set out to unveil one of the greatest mysteries in all of Europe. After a short ride with a very expressive bus driver, my investigation began. The first thing I noticed about Munich is that there are bike lanes everywhere. Lydia almost got hit. It was crazy.
Goodbye, Munich Airport. Thank you to all my German friends, Dankeschön, for giving us the wrong directions to a Lufthansa bus. Like 3 guys that said, oh, Terminal C, yeah, Terminal C, no, Terminal D. And then there was this one guy who said, you gotta go across the street, down, and I was like, I don't see any stairs. And I'm like, that guy's, everyone else, everyone's saying something different, but I'm like, I'm not believing that guy. And guess who was right? That guy. Because a Lufthansa bus drove by and went like down and like into this tunnel. I was like, we gotta go down. So check out all these bikes, bro. So Lydia just asked me, is this the good part of town or is this the medium side of town? And I'm like, definitely the medium side. Look at this wonderful medium town. Just such mediocre architecture. Goodbye, Lufthansa bus. Maybe one of the warmest buses I've been on in my whole life. And also that driver, dude, man. That guy's funny. Not sure what he said, but it didn't sound very nice. What'd you think of that bus ride?
Started falling asleep actually.
Oh, really? It was not a boring bus ride. I'm surprised you were falling asleep.
Oh, I'm just tired.
This is what's called a bike lane, guys. And literally just rocked right in the middle of it, and 2 bikers were like, oh, Brett. And they went completely around her. They like encircled her. Was that scary?
Yeah, well, you called out, you're like, limit. I was like, I'm dying.
I mean, I walked in a second after I said that, so I'm not any better. Oh, check out this archway. Took us like 10-15 minutes to cross this one intersection. I don't know how the bike lanes work. It's a good time. Yeah, they don't talk about Europe being dangerous, but it kind of is. Donald's. But if you're Arabic, but you want to be American, then you got McDonald's, but then you've got McDonald's. Check out these masterpieces. What do you think?
Lydia and I are about to walk into the largest Renaissance church north of the Alps. Its name is St. Michael's. It was built as a centerpiece for the Counter-Reformation. And apparently the architect in St. Michael's Church was so lavish and extravagant that it's nearly bankrupted all of Bavaria. The same year the church was finished, King Wilhelm V abdicated the throne and let his son deal with a massive financial problem. Little did I realize this church held a clue that could be vital in helping me solve the biggest mystery in Munich. Did you see the clue? Watch again in slow motion. That, my friend, is Ludwig II, King of Bavaria. He is most known for his fairy tale castles, deep love for art, and mental insanity.
Probably here thinking, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, so apparently he built his castles not for political power, but as a retreat to live out his fantasy world based on German myths. And he is buried right here, under this church of St. Michael. Ludwig II became extremely nocturnal and reclusive, probably because he didn't like the fluorescent lights at his office job. Sometimes he took carriage rides in the moonlit nights through the mountains. He reportedly tried at one point to build a floating palace. Now you might be thinking, this Ludwig II guy seems like a pretty stand-up dude. And he's just like your brother Irvin. And you'd be right. But to find out why Ludwig II is important, this is the Frauenkirche, one of the most famous churches in all of Munich. Its domes were built to resemble the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. It's interesting that the original architect, George von Hausbach, actually ran out of money before he finished the church because it was originally supposed to have spires. So several decades later, the domes were added when the funder of the church received more money. As I first walked in, I noticed there was a huge crowd at the entrance of the church, and I didn't understand why. So I just walked past and continued on, and I found this statue.
What do you think?
I'm not too sure. I thought it was the
Nebuchadnezzar just doesn't... No, it's got to be something way deeper than that. Headless man. No feet. No head. What's going on?
Little did I know that the Church of Our Lady, the Frauenkirche, turned out to hold the mystery I was looking for. The rest of the church was sparsely populated, and honestly, the interior was spacious but rather simple.
Nebuchadnezzar just doesn't... No, it's got to be something way deeper than that.
This is complete speculation, but it could have been a statue of Jesus. I'm seeing the long hair, but who broke it and why is the face removed? I immediately began to do research, but every website that I looked up on the Frauenkirche had no information. So, Lydia and I continued on our way, and maybe the rest of Munich will give me some insights on this statue and why this church is significant.